It was good to come back after they got it. I mean, it was a day off, but they still were doing things for their body treatment, but day off from practice. So it was good to see them come back today. And, we treated it a little bit like a Monday practice in season where they have to feel what it is to practice without the shoulder pads, just the spiders, and how to get full speed reps but stay on their feet. So it was good, and it'll be good for teaching in that regard, because you have to. Through the course of the season, you have to learn and understand how to practice. The older you get, the more you have to understand how to practice without pads. Just we understand that, and our guys did a good job of that first day, and we still got great quality reps. And then tomorrow we'll get a little more full go-ish, so to speak. So I'm excited.
I know you guys are a week in now. Is it really night and day between last week, or are a lot of guys still shedding rust, you'd say?
There are parts of it that are kind of night and day, and then there are parts of it where it's just more of a gradual. So you have certain aspects where you see, wow, that's night and day from just 5 days ago, and the other things you just see they're stacking one gradual, and we'll have dips. Everybody has dips. It's just the key is when you do have a dip, can you respond out of that dip and get back going this way? Don't make it a big dipping roller coaster. So yeah, it's been good to see these guys take the gradual, and in a couple areas take the huge night and day jump.
Which areas specifically did they take the night and day jump?
I've seen it in a couple spots, even with just like some of our, like today, I'll give you one good example. Just our technique and some of our motion and our shifts. We were really kind of lethargic doing it. We weren't stressing the defense. And today, all of a sudden, we were hitting those motions with good spacing, full speed. We were getting to the proper areas. So that was, if you were to watch the practice of the same type of stuff we do motion-wise, 2 days ago, it would have looked night and day. So that's the one that jumps out at me today.
How much of the offense do you think you have installed right now?
Probably about 85%, so quite a bit. Really in just 5 days. And then from there, you're continuing to add some red zone, some third down, and game plan specific stuff too, But yeah, it's the bulk of it is in for sure.
Is that typical for this stage, or is this more than usual?
This is more than usual. We just decided we wanted to treat it more like we wanted to make sure that we got everything in and challenge them. We felt like we had a veteran crew that worked hard in the spring on their own, to continue. They were meeting on their own at times. They were, doing things in the summer, so we felt like they could handle it. And I think every team's different that way. It doesn't make one way right or wrong, because I've done it before where we didn't get to this install. This was basically our 5th install on day 6. Sometimes I haven't got to this until more like day 12 or 13. But the nice thing about it is, if you find some things on install 5 that really become something, because every year is different in terms of what becomes your bread and butter, what you like, you have more time now to keep repping it. Where if you don't put it until 13 and all of a sudden your guys fall in love with it, or they're really good at it, you've not wasted, but you've had 12 days before that where you could have been repping certain concepts or schemes.
Guess of how much you have had installed at this stage last year?
About 3 as opposed to 5. So when I say that, it's 5 days has about 85 or 90% of our offense. In terms of 5 installs, we got about 85 or 90%. Last year it was probably 3 installs at this point. Probably 1 every other day, this being day 6.
So that puts you ahead.
It does. And there's good and bad, because other people would argue don't move on until you've mastered something. So there's a give and take with that, and there's a lot of different theories on how to do it, but we've attacked it this way, and I think it all depends on the players. The young men in the program allow you to be able to do that. If they couldn't handle it, we wouldn't do it. But we believe they can handle it, and they're showing that. They're not perfect, but no one is, but they're proving that they can handle that type of heavy install.
With full pads coming out in the next couple of days, what should we expect to see the offense in terms of intensity and kind of the speed of things?
We're just able to do some more drills that are, the old inside run drill or whatever you want. We call it our own name for it, and so you're able to just maybe get some red zone, some more short yardage. Most of our third down stuff has been heavy pass emphasis, and it's been 3rd and 3 plus, where now we can start getting into some 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, and allows that, and some open field tackling drills, things like that, where we really, because I know for the defense they always, and for us as an offense, I would have made a miss. Well, we'll see. Or the defense, I had that tackle. We'll see. So for both sides, it kind of you kind of get a better feel of what's real and what's not. So it'll be fun to do that.
How much does going full pads help you evaluate your running back group?
A lot. It does. And it's not so much the full pads, but some of the drills you do in full pads help. And then getting to some live stuff helps. So those are the aspects. So it's less about them being in full pads and more about how we structure the practice because we're in full pads. Presents more opportunities to evaluate them really in those, those tough situations. That's what it comes down to. And we all know that's one of the biggest attributes, running back can have if they're tough. If they're not, they can't play that position.
Describe the running style of Chris.
It's become, last year as a freshman, he was a big, powerful back. That's what I was saying. And as a freshman, he was, to be a big, powerful back as a freshman is hard to do. A lot of guys need that year. Now, to me, he's developing into that complete back. So it's still a powerful running style, but he's showing some short area quickness, in terms of jump cuts or making guys miss. Not that he didn't have that before, but it's improved dramatically. The work that Coach Beck did, not just with Chris, but with the entire group, you can see that off-season work coming into movements. It's not all about strength. Strength is huge, but it's more about how your body, what type of movements, the flexibility, the strength in and out of cuts. And you can see that the work he's put in the off-season, the work he's done with the strength staff, it's carried over to make he's becoming that complete back. So his style is still, got power, but it's not as if that's, he's not a one-trick pony.
Not just between the tackles.
No way. He almost caught a wheel route down here. He's caught the ball out of the backfield for first downs. He's gotten outside. He got outside on a little counter play there in that. So not at all. None of the backs are. They all have good versatility.
Coach, it looks like a lot of different guys are getting a lot of different reps at different offensive line positions. What do you make of their performance so far?
They're working their tail off. Coach Wilcox always says it. We all have talent, right? In terms of programs around the country, everyone has talent. They're taking their talent and maximizing it. And obviously, it starts, obviously with Coach Greatwood and what he does with that group, and it's just been fun to be a part of that. But it still takes the players. No matter what you do as a coach, it comes down to those guys. So when you see those guys, when you see Mike Safel running his own meetings in the off season, or doing those things, that's I always tell our quarterbacks, what you do in here is good. In the meeting room, what you do that I don't see gets to great. And that's like anything. What you do that we don't see as coaches, that's great. And that O-line takes that mentality. They don't just try to do things so we see them doing things. They're doing it on their own to work to be great. And, so now you're taking your talent and the stuff they've done in the off season, and Coach Beck, like I've talked about, and now you're taking it to another level because they do the extra little stuff. So just appreciate, respect.
Will full pads also help kind of evaluate their performance as a whole?
Absolutely, but they laugh about it because we'll give different tempos. When we just have shoulder pads, but you're usually talking to the skill guys in terms of we're tagging off or thudding, and they're like, it's all the same to us. They're still banging, whether they have lower pads on or not. It's so they almost laugh at that, So it doesn't change their world. Now the question came up: the drills we do though, they get more opportunities for those either short yardage or inside run drills, so they'll be in more situations. But their speed or their tempo is the same. That's why it's like, God bless them. That's a hard spot to be day after day, but they wouldn't be here if it wasn't hard. And it's they love it.
What do you want to see the most from Chase and Devon tomorrow?
Tomorrow's not much different for us as QB. They're still not.
Yeah.
It's not changing. We try and create
You're
as
not
much
hitting
live.
them.
We're not hitting them. So we're still trying to give them, even in these periods, have to move off your spot and give them, pushing them on their shoulder and hitting them with crayons during 7-on-7. When I'm talking about those crayon pads. But their world isn't going to change. They just need to keep developing, with what we're doing and, and keep, working to command the offense every day, stacking, one great one on another. And if you do have a lull, if you do are off, it doesn't become a lull, you fix it. That's the basic. We're all going to make mistakes, every one of us, and it's a matter of what are you doing the next time you're in that situation. Don't keep making the same mistake, and that's what they're striving towards doing. Whenever we correct things or work on things.
What's your feeling about the tight end group after 6 practices?
Excited about them. They're developing like crazy with Coach Tui from back to last spring. Biggest thing you can see is a lot of those guys weren't necessarily tight ends. Colin wasn't a tight end. Callie was more of a receiver. Gavin, was more of a receiver in the past. And it's that developing into what it is to be a tight end. You're still going to have a lot of receiver aspects to what you do, but there's also O-line stuff in what you do. So it's just been fun to see them develop with, with that part of things. So I'm excited about it because they want it. they all want it. They want to be great at that position. You know, they don't just want to catch balls because they know you're going to block a lot more than you're going to catch balls. I don't care if you catch 60 balls in a year as a tight end. That's still a lot less times than you're going to, you know, have to block. You know, and so and they're loving that. They're embracing that mentality, and coach is doing a great job with kind of it's the little things that you guys may not see, but just the first step, second step. You know, getting your hand in the dirt, you know, and getting that first step, second step, and just those little things that are details that are, you know, just so important. You can see that developing.
You confident in that group?
Absolutely.
Will be
Absolutely.
representative?
Very much so.
By the season starts?
Absolutely. You know, we're all at every position group still a long way, but I'm 100% confident because they want it. And there's plenty of ability in that group, and they all bring different things to the table, and they want it. So, you know, yes, I'm very confident.
Any news on the quarterback front? Anybody showing significant improvement over the last couple of days?
No, not probably since we talked last. I mean, they're improving, you know, and I say both because Chase and Devon are getting most of the reps, but they're all improving, you know, in that way, you know, with some of them with more limited reps in terms of Robbie and Jack and even a little bit with Spencer. But no, you know, one thing that'll happen is I need to keep mixing them up. Not because we're creating something, you know, in other words, I need to keep mixing up Chase and Devon a little bit so they don't, you know, really, so neither of them continue to play with the same center, the same O-line, the same receivers. That's the biggest reason. Even if you don't end up, you know, naming a starter and you have that set in stone, you still never know what happens through a season. So when you get used to a certain rhythm of just the second group of receivers, then all of a sudden you're put in that spot and you haven't worked those. So that's why I got to continue to do with those guys, is mix it up enough so they all are getting on a continuity with the top 10 O-linemen and with the top 6 or 7 receivers and the top 3 or 4 backs, and they all have that feel.
Last year you switched starters several times.
Yep.
Is that something you want to avoid, or is that okay?
I never want to do it. You know, and I do. You know, we had a reason for it early, you know, and that wasn't necessarily switching starters. We still wanted to evaluate them live. So early on, we wanted to evaluate him live. And then Brandon gave us a little something, even if I didn't know he became the starter, but even when he wasn't, he gave us, you know, you go back to the BYU game especially, gave us something different, you know, coming off the bench. It became a souped up version of any Wildcat because he could throw the ball too, you know, and he could understand the entire playbook that way. So, but as a quarterback coach, unless you're going into some Wildcat stuff, you know, which, who knows, it just kind of depends. No. You want, you still want, but that doesn't mean that always happens, you know. But you definitely want that to have that QB earn it by the time the first game starts, and just keep progressing and developing and keep earning it throughout the year and stay in that spot. All right, thanks guys.
Thanks, Coach.